Good morning again, everyone. Welcome to our workshop all about the Gathering Place. We have Andrea Leitch with us here from the Gathering Place, and she is going to kind of dive into what the Gathering Place is, what they have to offer, public events, and more. Andrea, I will go ahead and let you take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here today. I am a graduate of OU, so personally my favorite university school. So it's a real privilege, especially to have you all before Bedlam. I know a lot of my colleagues at Gathering Place are leaving today to head down to Texas. So I love that I have this opportunity to talk with you all about Gathering Place. Just a bit about me. I am from Tulsa, and then I graduated from the University of Oklahoma in 2008, and I received my degree from Gaylord, and it was right when Gaylord was being built. So I've heard that since then it's become much larger, but from there, I pursued a career in journalism, essentially, and it took me all the way to Washington, D.C., where I worked at National Geographic in the travel space, telling stories about different destinations and cultures for many years. And then I decided that I was ready to return back to a place that I love so much, which is Tulsa. And it was right around the time that Gathering Place was opening. And so it's really amazing to see how it's transformed Tulsa. And so the presentation I'll share with you today will be highly visual and can give you kind of an overview of the park. For some of you who have been here, a lot of this will look familiar, but I hope that you'll see and learn some new things this time around about what Gathering Place has to offer and the next phase of Gathering Place, which is soon to open in 2024. So I will go ahead and get this presentation. Gathering Place opened in 2018. This is a high-level visual of Chapman Adventure Playground, which is 5 acres of playground. So hopefully for those of you who have come with kids, they've enjoyed their visit here. But I do want to say that Gathering Place was the vision of George Kaiser, who is a philanthropist and businessman here in Tulsa, and he wanted to create a green space in Tulsa that was welcoming to everyone, no matter their background, their race, their sexuality, their age. He wanted everyone to come to a place where they could gather for free and essentially play, learn, explore, and learn new things with one another. And so that was the creation of Gathering Place, or the beginning of Gathering Place. And he was able to work with many generous businesses and families and donors to raise $465 million to build Gathering Place in the heart of Tulsa, and gifted it to River Parks, which River Parks is along the Arkansas River and is one of Tulsa City Parks. And at $465 million, it's the largest private gift to a community park in U.S. history. So it's an honor that this is part of Tulsa, and the hope is that it will be part of Tulsa and free for all in perpetuity.
When we heard about Gathering Place, it just seemed like a nice place to bring your family and friends and hang out. But then what I realized is it's the place where you can truly express yourself.
Whenever I was first interviewed at the park, the excitement was just unbearable because I had watched the park being built. I knew that I wanted to be part of this.
Some jobs, when you drive up to them, you just want to drive off and keep going and never look back. When I drive to the Gathering Place, I want to stay. To me, it represents a culmination of a place for everybody to come, like truly a gathering place.
It's kind of a place of peace. It's a place of comfort.
I think the Gathering Place is really not only a park, but it feels like home because it's a place that welcome you as you are, and you can build your own memories.
I always tell people I have the best office view in town. first moved to Tulsa about 4 years ago, and a friend brought me to Gathering Place for the first time. At the first sight, I loved the place. Little did I know that I was going to end up working here.
It was a September morning and it was just beautiful, one of those late summer days right before fall hit. And Ender had been toying with the idea of taking his first steps, but hadn't really committed to actually walking yet. He loved Volcanoville and he started crawling around and then started showing signs that he wanted to do some walking. So we picked him up a little bit and lo and behold, I guess it was the soft ground and he just felt confident to take his first steps.
A small delegation of Greater Tulsa Area Indian Affairs Commissioners were designated to come and do a centuries-old Native American blessing to these grounds. I was overwhelmed by the amazing serenity.
One day, shortly after the park opened, we were walking together and we were walking through the Four Seasons Garden, and a young boy, about 8 or 9 years old, came up to me and he had an Indian blanket flower in his hand and he stuck it out and said, "This is a random act of kindness," and he handed it to me. I was just floored. I've never had anything like that happen before, and I thought, this is amazing that this would happen. Where else would it happen but here?
My like very emotional favorite memory is when I took the stage. I took the stage. It was so fun singing in front of the audience, seeing the judges very happy, smiling, or the audience moving around. It was like really fun.
So the 100 days and coming to the park every single day was just by accident. Let me tell you, 100 days was not enough because I continued coming.
It was really magical just seeing him feel the confidence to be able to take his first steps.
To me personally, this place offers something that you don't get every place else. It is a feeling that overwhelms you. It's amazing when you enter.
Shortly after, a man came walking by and he was talking on his cell phone, and I stopped him and I held out the flower and I repeated what the boy had said to me, and he put his cell phone in his pocket and took the flower, and then we both walked on, and I have a feeling he did the same thing.
I love singing. I almost practice singing like every day. And then when I came, I was like, I'm kind of nervous, but when I got up and when I started singing, I like felt an emotion that I was like, oh my God, this feels so good.
For artists, their favorite place is center stage. For me, Gathering Place is that. It is my stage. Every nook and corner is a stage for me to perform and showcase my talent. So for me, this is my stage. This is my place.
What makes the Gathering Place so special is you don't have to leave Tulsa. You can come here and still feel like you're away at a special place. I get to stop and smell the flowers when I come here. I literally get to enjoy that moment.
If I can make someone's day a little bit better, if they can make my day just a little bit better, even with a smile or a wave or a thank you for gathering with us when they leave, those things are important to me.
That's what I get the most excitement out of, is seeing the people that we tour when they see the vision of this park. Unity versus uniformity. People are different, but everybody is welcome.
Every day is my favorite memory since every day is different. That is the magical thing about Gathering Place. It's open to everyone, regardless of culture, economic background. It doesn't matter. Everyone can have the same experience when they come here.
It's so cool. It's amazing.
Gathering Place is a park for me and a park for all.
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 Y es un parque para todos.
Gathering Place is a park for me and a park for all.
So that gives you kind of a first taste of Gathering Place through video. And we created that last month, actually, for our 5th anniversary. We recently celebrated 5 years since we opened in September of 2018. And so we wanted to highlight some of our community members who have just the most beautiful stories that they have from the park. And we wanted to share it with the community. So thanks for watching that with me. So as you heard them say, Gathering Place is a park for all, and our mission is that we are a world-class riverfront park designed to welcome all guests to a vibrant and inclusive space that educates, engages, and excites. So every day our team members are out there living and breathing that we are world-class, we are free, and we try to make everyone who comes into the park feel like they have paid lots of money to experience all that the park offers, from our 5 acres of playground to our free music events, to our boat rides, to our different building interiors. We want everyone to feel like they are just at the Disney World of Tulsa, essentially. And so that is what we wake up and do every single day here at Gathering Place, making sure that everyone feels like they have a world-class experience and that in some way that we educate, engage, and excite them. And so here's a timeline of Gathering Place. As you can see, George Kaiser had initially started ideating the concept of Gathering Place in the early 2000s. And we're very fortunate because we have people from all over the world come to see Gathering Place, to see how they can build community parks like Gathering Place. And everyone who visits, they're always astounded how quickly we were able, from the ideation to the conception, to actually see it in September of 2018 open. And so it was a very quick process, having worked with the city very closely and our different donors, for it to essentially come to life. And the most recent expansion of Gathering Place has been Discovery Lab. And I noticed one of you in the chats mentioned Discovery Lab, the Children's Museum. While it's not part of Gathering Place, it's located at Gathering Place. So we don't manage the day-to-day operations of it, and it is a paid experience, but it is located at Gathering Place. So this gives you kind of an idea of what it looked like before and what it looked like after. I know some of you are from Tulsa or have visited Tulsa, so you might remember when Riverside had this big open space and there was a pedestrian bridge there, and we had a large mansion in the back of this property, and it has since transformed with Gathering Place. But we have many people who come through remembering what the space used to look like, and are just so in awe of what it has transformed into. This is our park map. So we are currently on 66.5 acres of park. We actually own 100 acres, so we still have land to build on, but you can essentially see all the many different areas of Gathering Place, from our Williams Lodge, which is our entry point. We actually have over 20 entry points into the park, but it's essentially our guest center, our welcome center for guests, to the playground, to our pond, where you can take free boat rides, pedal boat rides, kayak rides in the warmer months. We extend down Riverside to sports courts, a BMX pump track, a skate park. We offer so much here, as you can see. So we stretch along 3/4 of a mile along the Arkansas River. So we are located on the riverfront. And, you know, it's interesting because soon after the park opened in 2018, we had a massive flood come through the park, but thankfully not much was damaged, but it comes with being along the Arkansas River. And since then, a new dam has been put into place, or they're working on it right now. But we've experienced so much in just 5 years. COVID also took place. So no year has necessarily been a normal year for us. However, since we opened, we've welcomed nearly 11.5 million people in the last 5 years. So we see about 2 million a year. Seeing guests from all around the world, and we see people from all different states. But what is most important to us here as Gathering Place is that we are a park for the community. So creating programming and being a space for all Tulsans to feel welcome is most important to us. However, we also welcome the tourism, and our tourism is a big part of who we are and what we do, but we do want to be a park for all Tulsans. So this is Williams Lodge. As I said, it's essentially the welcome center to the park. It's absolutely beautiful on the inside for those who have visited, in terms of the architecture and the different materials used, from the wood to the sandstone on the floor. And the furniture itself was all built custom, just for gathering place. But it's a beautiful space that is used year-round, from students who are studying for their final exams to people hosting meetings or people coming to play checkers, knitting clubs. All different kinds of groups come through this lodge. This is our PSO reading tree. This cottonwood tree is the largest tree that we have on property right now. And we do currently have an art installation, and we do other events around this area for children all throughout the year. We have a sensory garden where it's important that we program STEAM-based activities for kids. So we try and program as often as we can in these different parts of this particular garden for kids. We also have different playground areas that are geared toward different ages. So you'll see anywhere from 0 to 2 for those who are crawling and learning to walk, to those who learn to walk and are still toddling around. This is more for the toddlers. We have different realms of play. So we like to say that there is something for everyone up to age 16, but we also see adults on the play equipment all the time. I know myself with a 2-year-old, I'm up in the towers now climbing around on ropes and such, but it's very fun. And all of this was custom built for Gathering Place from some European manufacturers. And this is a high level look of the playground, especially the area where we have 6 different towers. And it's very fun and very unique, and is a great experience for all. And many of these are accessible for all children of all abilities. So that was really important to everything we created, that kids could come in if they needed to on wheelchairs and go up into the tower and go through the different towers and experience the slides and swings as well. These are our blue heron play equipments, which you can climb into, and many of these different play equipments, you'll see STEAM-based activities inside. This is one of our paddlefish play areas. We also have many different water play features. This is one of our splash pads, but we have Water Mountain as well, which is where kids can work together to make water run through and create some exciting play. We have these climbing pods for kids to go up and down in. We also have sports courts. We have 5 different sports courts where you can play anywhere from street hockey to basketball to futsal. And we also now offer pickleball. And so with everything that we have to offer, because we know that the playground is the most trafficked area of the park, it's also very important to us through the George Kaiser Family Foundation to create education programs and events all for free, so that it's equitable and accessible for all. So we essentially have programming 365 days of the year. While most of our education programs are geared toward ages 0 to 8, we really have something offered for all ages throughout the year. And I'll show you some of those here in a moment. We also have teacher programs for professional development. We do field trips. We also do a lot of school outreach to teachers and provide them supplies and things that they might need throughout the year, so that they also can all have the best experience in the classroom when speaking about Gathering Place, and hopefully bringing them to the park for free field trips throughout the year. We offer free field trips through our Explore and Imagine grant that we have through Public Service Company of Oklahoma. And so we have about 15,000 students and teachers come through the park every year for a program. We also had the National Geographic Photo Arc and other pretty world-renowned, nationally renowned programming that is offered to the public all for free at Gathering Place. And then aside from just education programs, while that's important to all the different events that we do, we also offer cultural programming, holiday programming. I know someone also said that they came to the park for the Christmas season. Health and well-being, nature, and art in the park are all vital to the different types of events that we produce here. And so I like showing this one, Global Gatherings. It was the first time we created something like this year. It was a 13-week program where we highlighted different regions of the world every single week. And it was also allowing community members who had never been to the park or who had not performed in the park to showcase their different cultures for the first time, which was really important and beautiful to see them get to do that. And we hosted not just dance performances, but arts and crafts, and we also had food from around the world. And so we saw a lot of guests coming back week after week, getting to explore these different regions, which was really special. But it's important for us to showcase our community and the vibrancy and richness of what our different communities have to offer here in Tulsa. We also have a lot of performances. This group is known as Cuckoo Kangaroo. They're a YouTube sensation. The moms were very excited about them, but they had a few different performances at Gathering Place this year. The kids were very excited too. I believe teachers show their fun performances in and teachable performances in the class quite often. But it was fun to see all ages come and enjoy music. Again, you would typically have to pay for an experience like that anywhere else. They were actually on a world tour at the time and stopped in through Tulsa. But again, at Gathering Place, you can experience it all for free. We also do many story times here at the park. Literacy is important to us, so we partner with the Tulsa City County Library for many of the different program opportunities that we do, and also arts and crafts. I had mentioned we offer many different types of professional development where we give supplies to teachers so they feel prepared and not very overwhelmed when coming to the park, because it can be an overwhelming experience. Because the park was designed to essentially get lost in and to always find something new when you're coming through. But we want teachers to feel prepared to show their students around when they do come. I had mentioned the photo arc had come to Gathering Place. This was really important to us because usually photo arc is an expensive experience to see in museums around the world. Prior to it coming to Gathering Place, it had been in Saudi Arabia, and we had it curated specific to Oklahoma native species, which was really special and was the first time that the photo arc had ever done something like that. And for those who don't know what the National Geographic photo arc is, it's essentially a photographer photographing every single species so that they're cataloged. And to shed awareness on endangered species and the fact that we need to do something to make sure that we don't essentially deplete many of these populations. So it's a beautiful project. It's going to take the rest of Joel Sartori, the photographer's life, to do. And when he was here, he actually went to the Oklahoma Aquarium to take some pictures of some of the freshwater fish that they have, and has come to other Oklahoma animal reserves to take pictures. But he showcased many of the Oklahoma native animals here, which was really special. And we got to show it to the community for free and talk about sustainability and the importance of our environment when we had this exhibit for about 3 months. This was the photographer who came in and spoke to that. And this was some of the material that we created. This is a scissortail flycatcher. So it was really special to incorporate some native animals with what we were producing and showcasing to students. But we also thought it would be fun to showcase some of the more exotic species. Like this one is the smallest monkey of its kind in the world. It's actually just about this big. So very small, but very cute. Found in the Philippines, actually. We also have free movie nights. Like I said, everything we do here is for free. So we actually have a movie night coming up that's showing Hocus Pocus at the end of this month for Halloween. And this is our Quick Trip Great Lawn, where we have most of our large scale events, whether it's music, movies, cultural or just outdoor fun and outdoor play. This month we have something called Imagination Celebration, which is a fall festival celebrating STEAM geared towards families with kids, but it's really fun to see this area activated with so many different vendors and local artists participating and educators as well. And something really special that we do is a naturalization ceremony for children in Tulsa. We've been doing this for the last few years, and we essentially get to see 90 kids from the Tulsa area become naturalized in the United States. And it's a beautiful moment to witness and to have their families there supporting them, because Gathering Place is a park for all, and we want all of them to feel welcome. And this is their park. We also allow dogs in the park on Wednesdays, and only Wednesdays as of now. Dogs are just our children too, so we want to give them an opportunity to play, and we're actually thinking about expanding that program, allowing dogs leashed in the park on the weekends as well in the future. But we do have many dog themed events, so throughout the year we'll have events where you can bring your dog and participate in different activities and music, and we'll have vendors there giving free treats for just the animals too. So that's important to us as well. Now, green spaces are obviously very important. They connect community, encourage socialization, which is why the Gathering Place was so important in its creation for Tulsa, because you see people come together who might not have connected in the community before. So it's very special to see, and it's something we as employees witness all the time. As you all know, it improves physical health. We try and offer as many fitness and outdoor programs as possible. It helps with mental health. We saw this especially during COVID, people coming out more than we've ever seen before, and have continued to stay a friend of the park. Enhances the quality of life for the city overall. And that's why a lot of people come to see Gathering Place, to see how they can create something like this in their city. Encouraging a healthy lifestyle, gets you outside in an urban environment. We're very fortunate in Tulsa to have many parks. Gathering Place is very unique, obviously, but we work with our local city parks to encourage people to get outside and play. And then it improves air quality and enhances biodiversity. So green spaces are just so important, and it's something that we're really going to lean into next year, promoting the health and well-being of what community parks can provide. And so with that, these are some of our initiatives. We changed our park hours this year to open earlier. We had been opening at 9, but now we open at 7 so that people can utilize our walking trails, which there are many, and they connect to River Park trails. And soon, when our new pedestrian bridge opens, they will connect to the west side of the river, which will expand to many more miles of trail. We have fitness in the park, all for free. We have yoga, bar, for example. We've done Zumba, we've done different dance classes. They're usually in the evening on our Quick Trip Great Lawn. It's a great way to see people come together and just get healthy. And then we've worked with OU Health on skills and drills in spring and early summer this year. And we also worked with OU Health last year, last spring and fall, offering for all ages and abilities, which was really special to see 5-year-olds with 35-year-olds all trying to hone their skills, whether it was around volleyball, BMX riding, street hockey, futsal, and working with experts. So this was, for example, this picture here of the young woman holding the volleyball, working with one of our local universities, volleyball teams. We've had USA BMX come out, and you just get this expert training all for free here on our sports courts, and it encourages good health. And so this was one of our BMX programs that we had with skills and drills presented by OU Health. And then we also have some of these pictures. It's it was also great this year because we saw more young girls come out, especially for volleyball. Last year, we saw many more young men than young women. So getting to promote women in health and especially in youth is really important to us. So we're fortunate to do that this year. And then for the first time ever, we took skills and drills and a park program out into the community. And it was really fun because we took our gather round crew, which is our dance crew, to talk about skills and drills and to work with students who might not have the opportunity to come participate at the park, but to do it at their schools and community organizations. So it was so much fun to see that come to life for the first time ever in our gathering place history. And I know it was important to OU Health to be in communities too that might not have great access to the park or great access to healthcare. And so speaking of community engagement, we recognize accessibility to the park is difficult for some. So we have tried some things such as a shuttle system, especially from parts of Tulsa, like North Tulsa and East Tulsa. We've worked with Tulsa Transit to build new bus stops in front of the park. And also looking at taking more programs outside of the park and into other community centers, other schools, and giving them a gathering place experience as well for those who can't quite make it here to Gathering Place, which has been very special. And this is a picture of a water program. It was STEAM-based, playing with water this summer that we took to our city parks to talk about STEAM and had some fun out there. But we also recognize we have a lot of work to do. And I put that in here because while we're Gathering Place in a park for all, some people still don't feel comfortable coming to Gathering Place and they don't feel like it's their park. Tulsa has a history that is also very segregated. And so we are working with all different parts of Tulsa to make sure that North Tulsans feel like this is their park. And if they don't, how can we work with them to make them feel that way? Or how can we come into their community to make to give them a world-class park experience in North Tulsa? So we recognize we have a lot of work to do. We're only 5 years old. We work with our friends from Central Park quite often who are much older than us. But we are thrilled that we have a community engagement team that can go out there and interact with Tulsans who we might not have at the park. We also know that tourism is a big economic driver in Tulsa and in the state of Oklahoma. So we partner with our Visit Tulsa friends and Travel OK in terms of encouraging people to see how beautiful Oklahoma is and all the offerings that we have here. We work closely with our Tulsa area attractions to make sure that, hey, if you come to Gathering Place, that you also go and experience Philbrook if you can. And Gathering Place is a free experience. And so save your money and go to Philbrook for a paid experience, or go somewhere downtown to see the Woody Guthrie Center. We just want to make people experience Tulsa for all it has to offer and all the beauty that we have. And I have this picture here because Tulsa Gathering Place has more cherry blossoms than any other place in Tulsa. So that's something that we really want to look at growing even further. So it is a destination here in our region for people to come and see and experience. And I did want to mention phase 2 and phase 3. So Gathering Place continues to expand. We have Williams Crossing, which is a rendering of our new pedestrian bridge will connect the east side of Gathering Place to the west side of the river, which connects to many more miles of trails and essentially Turkey Mountain, which is another recreational area that many people utilize for dirt bike riding and trail running and all kinds of recreation. So we're very much looking forward to this new pedestrian bridge opening next year. And then we're also building out a riverfront entertainment area along the east side of the river that will look out onto the pedestrian bridge. So that will be a very big grassy lawn with a stage. So we'll have a few different stages, staging opportunities throughout the park, but that one will be really lovely because it will face west, which is, as we know, in Oklahoma has the best sunset. So it'll be a great view of the sunset. And then the city of Tulsa is also currently building a water flume, which will be a recreational space for locals or any visitors to come bring their kayaks or rafting boats, and go through some rapids. And so while it's at Gathering Place, it's not Gathering Place managed. It will be managed through the city of Tulsa, but that will be another reason for people to come to Gathering Place. And then, like I had said earlier, we have about 100 acres. We own the property around Discovery Lab. So we're very much looking forward to expanding over there. And we're currently ideating on what that will look like, but that will be coming in the next upcoming years. And so we look forward to expanding the park's footprint even further. And this is a picture right now of the pedestrian bridge, which is nearly completed, actually. You can walk across that bridge, but what the city is currently working on is this zinc dam that you see. It looks like different staircases. They're currently finishing that, and then the water flume is directly to the east of those stair steps where the dam is. So it'll be really exciting to see how it grows even further next year when it all opens together. And so thank you for listening to my overview of Gathering Place, and I'd love to hear if any of you have questions. I also want to note that as we recently celebrated our 5th anniversary, through the 5 years, we've noticed that many people see Gathering Place as a park just for children. I know I was one of them when I first moved back to Tulsa. I thought it was just a park for playing, but it's so much more, and there's so many different types of programs and activities. I barely touched on what we have to offer, but we have something for everyone, and something that we're looking forward to programming even more is more adult opportunities, whether it's through fitness or it's through sunset cocktail hours or something like that. So we're looking forward to creating more of those opportunities.
We do have a couple questions in the chat. I apologize if I've missed any. Please feel free to let me know if I missed one or didn't see it. One of them talks about mosquitoes. Are there lots of mosquitoes at the park, or do you have natural plants, animals that help control them?
We do have lots of mosquitoes at the park, and it is important for us to continue to be a habitat for animals for that very reason. So guests will see snakes, they're non-venomous, non-poisonous, but we do have animals in the park to help with situations like mosquitoes. But yes, we do have many.
Has the Gathering Place built more parking spaces that are closer to, I would assume probably that, where the playground side of the park and all that is? Since sometimes I know parking can be busy.
Yes, and that's a great question because we and I'll go ahead and stop the share. We have only about 250 spaces for parking right next to Gathering Place, and that is actually our biggest operational problem, is that we don't have enough parking. And we do have additional parking near Discovery Lab. That's a gravel lot, but that's the area that we plan to build more park on. So it's kind of up in the air where we'll find additional parking spaces, but we only have about 250.
Good questions. I think Candace, was your hand raised to ask a question? I want to make sure I didn't miss you.
Yes. Andrea, you mentioned that the playground was accessible, but I was wondering if the rest of the park was wheelchair accessible in most areas.
It is. We made sure that when the park was built, that all areas of the park were accessible by wheelchair. So we do have play elements that are for all abilities, but it was important that the park's paths would be built large enough, wide enough, and able for wheelchairs to go on. One
Okay,
other thing
great, thanks.
you're welcome, that I didn't mention is that we're part of Culture City, which is geared toward providing safe sensory experiences in the park. And so that's something that we recently launched, so that if you have any sensory issues, that you can still experience the park in a fun, safe way. And so that's something that we provide at our guest services.
And food options. Where can you get food at the park? Can you eat there?
That's a great question. So you can bring in food for free. So that's a great bonus that we have, but we do have a few areas for food. We have Redbud Cafe, which is located in Williams Lodge. It's downstairs, and so it has a coffee bar, it has sandwiches, small bites, but then we also have the patio, which is an outdoor space that has the hamburgers, the hot dogs, and some healthy bowl options as well. We did formerly have a restaurant space. It was called Vista. And Vista, we had closed it during COVID. We reopened it with a new concept last year. We didn't see the demand coming in to operate the restaurant, so it's currently a catering space. But of all the questions we get, it's when is Vista reopening? So it could always reopen again. And that's a more, I don't want to say fine dining experience, but it's a sit down dining experience.
Sorry, I could not unmute. One of the final questions, so that way we're wrapping up here, and mindful of your time and Andrea's time, is with restrooms at the gathering place, are there any that are all gender? Sorry, I was struggling to get that out.
We have a family. So we have male, female, family is what we currently have. That's a great question.
Well, we have really enjoyed this conversation and learning more about the Gathering Place. I learned quite a bit more as well, and look forward to seeing what the Gathering Place has in store for the Tulsa community and Oklahoma, since so many people come there as well. But thank you everyone for joining us. We hope to see you at the Gathering Place. Maybe we'll run into each other someday. But thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and thank you, Andrea, for your time and letting us know more about the Gathering Place and getting to know you.
You're welcome. And if anyone wants to come visit Gathering Place, one of our leadership team members would be happy to show you around. So just feel free to ask Kaylee for my information, and we'd be happy to set up a private tour for you and your family, or whoever else you'd like to bring here. We love showing the park around.